In this video, we're gonna take a look at two new buck knives. One I'm really excited about, and one is leaving me disappointed. Well, what's up, folks? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I am your host, Aaron, and who doesn't love a classic buck knife? Right here, I have a Buck 112 Ranger classic design. This one I even kicked up a notch, bought it with 5160 steel, a blacked out wood, put on an aftermarket thumb stud, and included an aftermarket pocket pouch. And the reason I did that is because the Buck 110 and Buck 112 original classic series have always been amazing and iconic pocket knives, but have not been really EDC friendly because they're really designed to ride on your belt in a leather sheath and to be opened with two hands. Well, Buck is now offering a solution to that with their Slim series of the Buck 112 and 110 designs. So I recently went out and picked up the Slim in their budget-friendly version here, 420 high carbon steel, polymer handles, and their Pro series with S30V steel and micarta handles. Both now offering ambidextrous tip-up pocket clips and thumb studs, while also slimming down the handle and cutting down on weight, which makes these now very pocket EDC, everyday carry friendly. So I'm really excited today to put these two new Slim versions up against my original 112 version, see what they have to offer. But I gotta tell you, one of these, as I said earlier, is really connecting with me. I'm really digging it. And one of them is leaving me extremely disappointed. So let's find out which is which and how they stack up against the original in this video. So let's go ahead and break these new Slim series down in the 112 size range. All right, it is 25 degrees out, sun is setting. We're gonna see how this video turns out. I'm on the log pile, about to bring in some wood for the fire, but before I do that, I'm going to walk you through the blades, and let's start off with the blades on these knives. Okay, so down here again, the classic, I mean, just epic blade shape with that awesome clip point, sharp clip. Love it, hollow grind. You're looking at about 3 inches overall blade length on the original 112 over here. And then what you're looking at is a cutting edge of about 2.75. You know, that's the normal design. These guys up here, even though they're 112s and they're called their Slim, these do not have the exact same blade shape, which is odd to me. Hopefully you guys can see that there, but actually the cutting edge on the Slim versions is going to be 2.625, whereas it's 2.75 on the original, so slightly less on the cutting edge, 3 inches overall. And then you can just see there, it's not quite as an epic looking clip, classic looking clip. It's a little bit more just natural, straight down to a point. I would almost call it like a clipped drop point almost. This is like a full-on clip point here, so I'm hoping you guys are able to see this on frame with these designs, but there is definitely a difference. You can notice it. Now, it doesn't affect anything. It's just something that I found interesting, that they wouldn't just do the exact same blade. They call it a Ranger, you know, 112, but the blade shapes are different. And if you were to ask me if I had a choice, what is my preferred blade shape? Well, it's the classic original shape. So I don't really know why they would possibly alienate their, you know, their avid followers of the 110, 112 series by changing up the shape a little bit. It just doesn't look quite as cool. It's still very functional, still very cool, not as cool though. You're losing the cool factor. You're putting a V6 in your Mustang. So I'm not sure why they did that when the originals came with the V8 clip point. So that's something that's somewhat odd to me. Now, I love the steels that they decided to go with. The budget-friendly version that we'll talk about here in price in just a moment is going to be the Buck 420 high carbon. They've been using it for a long time. It's a great budget-friendly steel, very easy to resharpen, holds a decent edge, definitely on par with AUS 8 and HCRs, if not even better, depending on the brand. So Buck does some of the best 420 around, and I like it. And for a compact pocket knife, it is phenomenal. Great for the price and for everything that you're getting. And I love the hollow grind, the clip that it has. It just looks cool, and it's very functional. It's going to slice really well. Cardboard, rubber, you know, cordage, different types of materials you're going to find around the house, things that you might be working on. If you're out backpacking, hiking, and camping, food prep and woodscraft, meaning carving and whittling, it's going to be a phenomenal blade shape. Works really, really well, and the 420 holds up great and super easy to resharpen with a ceramic rod. And even if you damage it, you drop it, whatever, and it chips out, and there's a chip, it's very easy to work a good fine edge back onto the blade without any difficulty. Now, the Slim Pro, which is this version right here, is S30V steel. Love S30V. It's a great steel. It's rust resistant, much higher edge retention than you're going to see on 420 high carbon. So it's going to cut for a lot longer period of time before it dulls and needs resharpening, which is fantastic that they decided to go with that. It's definitely a premium steel. Exact same blade shape, hollow grind, all of those type of things. So it's going to be very functional and all of that. Now, the trade-off is with longer edge retention, it is a little bit trickier to get an edge back on. It'll take you a little bit more time. Ceramic rod tuning up is easy, but if you damage it in some way or you just gnarl it up or something like that, you're gonna spend, whereas 420 might take you 5 minutes, this thing's gonna take you 10 to 15 minutes to get the edge that you want back on it. It's just the way S30V steel is that I've found from multiple manufacturers, including this Buck stuff. So great S30V steel. I love S30V, and it's a great higher end option offered, and Buck has been using it on several of their knives in their pocket knife arena for a while now, so that they're good with the type of steel. So great options depending on how much money you want to lay down and what performance level you're looking out of the Slim series. Now, as we move on to the handles, lots of options here. So on the original, you got brass bolsters with wood or micarta inlays. You can get bone, I think. There's lots of options out there. Again, links in the description below, so you can check out a lot of different options if you want to go with the classic after this video instead of the Slim Pro series, Slim or the Slim Pro series. So when we're looking at the Slims up here, what we are looking at is going to be a handle length of 4 1/4 inches on both. That's great. Love that. That's a really good handle length. You're looking at a handle width of 1 inch from top to bottom, and then a thickness of 0.41. Now, the upper one here is made out of glass reinforced nylon, a polymer material with lots of different color combinations. And then the Pro version with the S30V steel is going to have a tan or green micarta at this point in time. Both great options for the price points. So just to give us some perspective here, I wear large size gloves. You can see there, fills out my hand really nicely with that 4 1/4 inches, plenty of room to spare off the back there. Really contoured well. You got that small ricasso, good traction on the sides, no liners inside, so nice and light at 2.5 ounces, ultra lightweight. Totally dig that. Nice round transitions here on the handle as well, so I really like that. No hot spots, no sharp angles. Something to note, we discovered this when we looked at the 110 lightweight version a while ago. This little connection point where there's this little hill, that is from the factory. That is not a malfunction. That's not an issue. That's the way that's where the lock back and the blade are connected when they're forging them and laser cutting them or whatever they're doing. And normally they would hit that with this version up here, and with the micarta version they do this as well. They hit that with a sander, to make that flush because of as they're finishing off the brass there and the micarta here, so you don't have that little valley, or excuse me, that little hill. They don't do that on the polymer version because then they would ruin the polymer. They're not polishing polymer, it's just molded, and that's it. So they don't hit it with that sander, and that's why you get that little tiny lip right there. Just something to note. Don't freak out if your knife has it. That's how all of them come from the factory. So that's on the original Slim. Then if we look at the Pro version here, again, the micarta, very nicely done, very similar feel. It is a little bit more squared off just because it is micarta instead of the polymer where they can contour it a little bit more. So the angles are a little bit more abrupt, not by much. It doesn't cause any hot spots or anything like that. And then micarta is just gorgeous to look at, feels great in the hand, very natural feeling. No liners in there either, so again, cuts down on the weight, which is awesome, right around the 2.5 ounce mark, which is great. feels really good in the hand. It is slim. You know, this one I think is a little bit slimmer than this version. So you're gonna notice it in your hand that it's a EDC blade. It's thin. It's not full like the original. Just to show you here the massive difference between the original and these versions. This guy is full, so it feels great for like outdoor long cutting tasks, but it's big and thick in the pocket. These are designed to be more EDC, pocket-friendly carry options, not only because of the thinner blades, and they call them the slim on purpose, and the thinner handles, but also with the pocket clips. So as we look here on the pocket clips, I'm kind of 50-50 on them. They're loop over, which is always great, so flush with the back of the handle, so they're really deep ride. I love that. They're ambidextrous, tip up only. Those are all great. So lefties, righties, the thumb studs are ambidextrous, the pocket clips are ambidextrous. They're perfectly ambidextrous blades. That is always awesome. I'm always on the lookout for you lefties and what the knives have to offer. Now the trade-off being that they're really flashy. They're wide, they're big, they're not thin and slim like what we were looking at here a moment ago. You know, there's a blacked out slim pocket clip from K-Bar. This thing it's got the Buck logo on it. It's fat, it's wide. I know there's gonna probably be an aftermarket for thinner, narrower, less flashy pocket clips, and no lanyard hole. So those of you who want lanyards, now you can run lanyards through either the Anvil logo or this back portion right here to give you access to the screws. So you could run lanyards through there, but it's not a designated lanyard hole. So that's something to consider as well. So it's great that they're ambidextrous. It's great that they're loop over. They absolutely do their job. I don't like the fact that they're ginormous and really flashy. If they had been slimmer and maybe just a little stamped icon of the Buck Anvil or something, that would have been preferred for me. But now having pocket clips, this allows us to EDC, and that's what's always been a challenge with this amazing blade over here. I've always got to figure out some way to EDC this thing, put it in a coin pocket. You're carrying on your belt, maybe you don't want to do that. You know, this pocket clip is fantastic. The slimmer handles are fantastic for the concept of being now EDC friendly, EDC capable pocket knives. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hit price here, and we'll also talk competitive options here in a moment, all that stuff. So what we're looking at here on the slim original, the 420 high carbon version with the plastic handles, that's gonna run between 25, 30 bucks. Links below for all this stuff over on Amazon. Blade HQ really helps us out when you guys use those hyperlinks. I purchased all the blades you see here today, and it helps me when you guys use those hyperlinks to get out there, purchase gear, create content so that you guys have good data points for whether or not the gear items that you're looking at are going to be right for you. So 25 to 30 bucks, lots of color combinations on this guy right here. Then as we look at the Pro version with the S30V steel, you're looking at 80 bucks on average with, right now they have tan and green micarta. So for the material, it's awesome. I mean, under 100 bucks, USA made, S30V, micarta. I mean, that's a good price, and the 25 to 30 is a great price as well. Then here is the original. Now, the original ones with 420 will usually go for about $40 on average. This one is a custom from, you can get them on Amazon as of right now, and even Blade HQ sometimes has them. This is 154, this is 5160 steel, so an upgrade over 420, and I paid, I think, $60 for this model. So those are kind of the price differentiations, if you will. And I will hit here just as one competitive option, more for just the slim original version. We're gonna look here at the K-Bar Dozer real quick, K-Bar Dozer real fast. So the handle is going to be a very similar polymer material, which makes them ultra light. So it's a very similar weight class to what you're looking at with the Buck. I think the Dozer is like 2 ounces on the dot, if I remember correctly. You are going to have that tip up right or left, so completely ambidextrous pocket clip. The pocket clip obviously is a little bit more low profile, but it's not as deep carry as the Buck. So trade-offs there, positive, negative, depending on what you're looking at. Both have about the same blade lengths, you know, that you'll get maybe a little bit longer cutting edge on the Dozer, but not by much. Hollow grinds on both. So there's a lot of similarities. The K-Bar will have AUS 8 steel, which is a good budget steel. If I have a choice between the two, I like the 420 high carbon of the Buck. It's about the same. I mean, the performance is basically the same. It's more of just a preference thing, but they're gonna have very similar edge retentions. They're gonna get wicked sharp edges very easily on them. And the price is 20 bucks. I'll have a link in the description below as well over to Amazon and Blade HQ with all that. So very similar price point. The trade-off is obviously USA made, Taiwanese made, things that particularly US people really like a lot. So some things to note, these are the major differences for me. is that there is a thumb stud option that is ambidextrous. That is the version I have. There is also an eye hole version with more of a clip point like on the buck that is ambidextrous as well. So that there are 2 different blade options, 2 different deployment options. So there's a little bit more variety in the K-bar. And then the other major thing is where the locking mechanism is. They're both lockbacks, both very solid for their size and weight class and all that. But the lockback on the K-bar is in the center, right here in the middle of the handle, which means that I can easily grab it right here, depress, kick it, and close the blade one-handed. Flick it back open, depress, close. It's a very easy one-handed manipulation. It's easy to manipulate open and closed. That is not quite the same on the buck because the locking mechanism, I'm stumbling all over my words, it's so cold out here at 25 degrees, is all the way back here. So that means I have to kind of scoot my hand back, grab it, depress it, kick hard, then I have to scoot my hand back up and then close the blade. And then I do have to give a little bit more wrist flick just because there's a little bit more tension on the lockback spring than there is on the K-bar. Doesn't mean it's stronger or weaker, it's just a design aspect, fumbling over it. My hands are going numb, oh my gosh, of the design. So that's just something to consider. So you kind of got to do way more manipulation of the knife. I mean, you just get it down, it's not that big a deal, but you do notice there that I kind of got to do a double kick, and it's just not quite as fast to manipulate as the K-bar is. So those to me are the main differences, particularly between these 2 lightweight ones, these cheaper version of the buck and the K-bar, is things just to consider. So I just want to run those in as thought-provoking discussion points on which one, if you are going to buy the cheaper version of the buck 112 Slim, if that is the right decision, or is the K-bar, or is there something else? That's what we always want to do here when we create this type of content. All right, now to the thumbs up, thumbs down, love-hate relationship that we got going on here. So I'm going to start off by saying I think that the original Slim with the 420 high carbon, 25 to 30 bucks, polymer handles are phenomenal. They did a great job for the price, for the design. I love it. I will be having several. I'm giving one away soon. You're going to see this one being given away in an upcoming video around Thanksgiving. I will have 1 or 2. It's a great gift knife. I think that Buck has really done a good job with this version right here. No complaints, no issues, 0 problems, great lockup, great centering, all of that. So the original Slim is the one that I am in love with. Major thumbs up. This Pro version is really getting under my skin and really irking me because I love the micarta, I love the S30V, I love the look of it, and I was super pumped to buy both, and I am telling you now that this is the 3rd version of this knife I have purchased in the last 6 weeks, and I am so irritated with it. As soon as they dropped, I bought one from Blade HQ, and the centering was horrendous. The centering was literally taking shavings of micarta when I would close the blade. It was so cockeyed over to one side, and I saw that many people were having this issue. It was literally shaving off and nicking the micarta body. So I sent it back, because I purchased these. So I sent them back to Blade HQ. They refunded my money because Blade HQ's got an amazing warranty, and we'll return stuff, and they're great about that. So then I went to a separate website because maybe this happens sometimes with pocket knives when they first get released, that it's just bad batching, and that maybe one facility gets something that's not quite as good as the other, or whatever, and it takes a little while for the factory to get on the ball with every batch. So I said to myself, well, I'll go to a different website that I don't normally use, and I'll purchase another one. So I did that. Same thing, bad centering, not quite as bad, but it was still not dead center like this one. And again, I bought this one straight out of the box, solid in every way, perfect centering on the original here, the 420 cheaper version. The camera probably is not giving me a good, but it's great. I have 0 problem with it. So I bought the second one, same problem, shipped that one back. Then I saw them on Amazon from Buck Knives, being sold from Buck Knives. So I went over to Amazon, paid another $80. So I'm investing 80 bucks, returning, investing 80 bucks, returning. So this is the 3rd one from Amazon and from Buck's personal website. The seller is Buck. So you guys can tell how irritated I am. I knocked my original into the snow. So here's the deal. First off, centering. It's the best centering of all of the 3 that I've purchased from this Pro line, but it's still not as perfectly centered as this guy over here. This one has better centering. This one does not. It's slightly cockeyed. It was doable, so I was like, well, I mean, out of all three, it's not ideal, but you can see there it's almost rubbing up against the body, but I'll live with it. But the issue then was, as I began to play with it more, really nice, a smoother deployment than this guy back here, but huge wobble on the pivot, up and down and side to side, like massive, up and down, and this is not lined up well. Look at that. But hopefully you guys can see. I mean, look at this. I mean, wobbly as all get out. And I was like, well, let me just double check. And I mean, this one is solid as a rock. It snaps in zero. I feel zero wobble up and down, none side to side. And this is polymer. I mean, no movement whatsoever, and the same on this guy. I have like the micron side to side and none up and down. So the locking mechanism and the centering is still not perfect, not the way I would prefer, not the way that the way cheaper version is on this one right here. And the lockup is now wobbly as all get out. So the quality control on these pros are not there yet, and I'm very irritated with that. I will keep you guys posted. I want one so bad to work right for me, but I'm gonna sit on them and wait probably 6 months before I buy another pro to see if the factory can get their act together, because I'm very frustrated with the fact that an amazing looking knife that has great steel, great price point, my car, I mean, everything that connects with me is 3 times from 3 different distributors can't get it right, and either the centering is way off or the lockup is loosey-goosey as all get out, and their cheaper polymer version is giving me no trouble whatsoever. So big thumbs down for the pro version as of this point in November of 2018. Well, there you have it, folks. Really digging the slim original. Basically, lightweight, inexpensive, and going to do a lot of work for you and be a lot easier to carry in the pocket in EDC day in, day out. Just so frustrated and disappointed to date with this Pro Series. I want to love it. I want to carry it. But again, you can just see it. That rock is just so ridiculous. I mean, it's just all over the place and it's still not perfectly centered. And I wanted to make sure that my yellow one, or lime green, whatever, wasn't just a fluke. So I went out and got from Amazon, because that yellow one was from Blade HQ. So I went and bought a second one in black from Amazon, just arrived today, dead centering, perfectly centered, and super strong lockup. So the slim originals seem to be doing well out of the factory. It's the Pro Series that I've now had 3 that have been causing me problems. But I still got to tell you, there's nothing quite like an original. And this baby is just so fine, so classy, so beautiful, so elegant, and so capable. Love the original, love it, and can't say enough about it. If you want to go high end and feel classy up to this point, I would say still go with the original. If you're just looking for a really inexpensive but very functional USA made pocket knife for EDC carry, then just go with the original slim for now, and we'll hopefully do an update maybe mid-year next year. I'll buy another Pro and see if they've worked out some of these kinks. And I will include links over to Amazon along with the slims to not only the customs of the Buck 112 and 110 that you can get different blade steels in, but also the quick thumb stud that you can screw in that I love, and the hitch and timber pocket pouch that I usually carry the knife in the coin pouch. That's how I EDC this bad boy right here. So those will be included in the links below over to Blade HQ and Amazon. And I don't want you to forget also about our knockaround sunglass links. Great sunglasses for the entire family, and our newly landed backcountry links as well. Great outdoor apparel. You got lots of packs and knives. I mean, they got a whole store that is awesome for those who love going out in the backcountry. So check out those links below. All of them help support the channel, help me buy gear just like this, to go through all the hassle just like this when you guys use those hyperlinks. So thank you again for supporting us in that simple, free way for you, and continues to help us do what we do. So guys, I just hope this video has been informative, helped you out with your decision making. So finally, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, throwing up stuff there all the time. Great stuff going on over on the social media sites. Don't forget about the mailbag. Put hashtag mailbag. You might get your question answered in an upcoming video. And don't forget about the Saturday show, Getting Tactical Show, where we talk concepts, ideas, totally different than gear review style. And it's just a fun, different way to interact and have a good time together and just be part of the GT family over here. So thank you guys as always. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.